I just want to thank everybody that has reached out the last week, as well as thank you for your patience with me and me getting back to you. Two of the reasons that took so long, besides me having a few mental health spirals the last week, was, I was working extra, picked up some extra work, and then in my free time, I may have spent too much time in TikTok lives instead of, responding to people. I would also like to point out, I was shadow banned when I made that video. And so I didn't think anyone, I thought some of my friends would see it, but I didn't think the amount of people would see it or respond to me that did. Because I have been shadow banned for so long, like across all platforms. So I kind of made that video for myself to kind of screech into the void. And I also kind of wanted to update, some of the people who have been in touch with me on why I have been a bit of, when I say I'm feeling feral cat mode, how I've been a bit of a feral cat lately. And now I'm not gonna go full trauma dumping, but I'm gonna touch on some traumas. So I just wanna do a trigger warning. And I'm not planning this shit, I'm just gonna be speaking. So let's just say that's a broad trigger warning for anything I might fucking say. I don't know what the fuck I'm about to say. But 5 years ago, when I was SA'd, and then like the following 2 to 3 years after, when I was begging the community that I was in at that time to care, I really felt like I had no one for a long time. And this was a community, some of these people I've known since I was a child, since I was 2 to 11 years old. Most of those people I met between the age of 15 and, 19. And almost all of those people were people who I had known for about a decade or longer at the time this all went down. In person, not virtual relationships like I've basically been rebuilding, but people, like the people I saw every freaking day. My own family, my twin sister, my brother, my mother. And I built my whole life and career and community within the music industry in New Orleans. And I was assaulted within that music industry community of New Orleans. And many musicians in the music industry community of New Orleans covered it up. And other people within the music industry, from their fans to people behind the scenes. I don't care if people believe me or not. I can prove that I have worked for the people I allegedly accuse of certain behavior. I never worked for the person that did it to me, but the people that cover it up, I can prove I worked for them. And I can also prove that they've continued to do business with him. There was also a music venue that covered it up, and their staff, the place I was assaulted at. So, Halloween 2018, I was assaulted at a crew meetup of all of the Mardi Gras crews in New Orleans with a bunch of fucking musicians. My assaulter was king of 2 of those crews. The venue I was at, when it happened, kicked me out for causing a scene and causing a disturbance. And they allowed my assaulter to stay. And they took his side, even though they knew what was happening. And a lot of the people I've been calling out were there that fucking night. And a lot of them continued to cover it up and to support that dude. So when that happened, and the more I processed it all, at first I didn't want to be alone, and I was trying to maintain my community. So I was kissing everybody's ass. I was thinking maybe if I was good enough, nice enough, a better person, they would care enough to help me, you know? So at that point, I was still trying to support these people until finally I started processing things and I broke. Like, I had been calling it out the whole time and begging people to care, but I was still maintaining friendships or thinking I had friends with these people that were still taking my assaulter's side until I realized that's fucked up. That is a SA culture. And so whenever I started calling out anyone and everyone that continued to support that shit, and that covered it up in any way, that excused it in any way, or maintained relationships with those people, I lost everything. I lost my family, I lost my friends, and I lost all of the clients I had ever built for myself. And most of this emotional fallout occurred between 2018 and 2021. And I should also clarify, because now I feel like I'm dismissing the people that have really been there for me this whole time and everything, you know. I'm clarifying, I'm generalizing about how I felt regarding the people that did treat me that way. There are people, you know, that really have been there for me. So I'm not dismissing those people, you know, they know who they are. And the other people fucking know who they are too. Even the gaslighters, even the ones that want to pretend like they didn't. And there's a lot more to my life story than just that one event, but I'm sharing it with you because I think that gives insight into how I perceive community, how I am looking for relationships, and, you know, just some insight into why value alignment is really important to me, and just certain things. Now, I've been thinking a lot about how our community and our society upholds horrible situations because it quote unquote benefits us all. Because after I was SA'd, several people reached out to me telling me about other people who were physically or SA related abusive in the music community, but they were all covering it up. And that fucked my head up even more. So just remember, you are never safe in the world. Do not ever think you are safe, because you are not. And I don't think that's me having a trauma reaction. I think that is a fact that we need to all process and accept. And I say this because to me, the illusion of safety is privilege, right? It's like when us white people don't want our kids to know about critical race theory, yet, you know, if you are, for example, racially marginalized by us white people, then fucking you don't get to be safe as a kid. When I thought I was safe in the world, I also was not aware of how my white privilege protects me in society. And I also think I might be fucked up for it taking me being isolated by the white controlled sector of the industry that I made a living in to realize how my own white privilege is an issue. But then I also think that speaks to I'll never understand what it's like to experience something I've never experienced. But to sum it up, this is how I realized that white people would rather uphold a system we know is harming others if it benefits us than do anything to make things better for other people or ourselves. And I have a lot to say about the deaf hearing cultural divide being tied to colonialism, but I'm not trying to mix that here because, you know, of people who are deaf who are of the global majority. So this is how I came to experience the consequences of what white supremacy, capitalism, and what we normalize as a community actually impact us. I think I'm fucked up. Is there a moment you can pinpoint where you wanted to deprogram?